My people, welcome back. I hope you guys been enjoying the Swervinn so far. I've been enjoying it personally, so I feel like you guys are starting to get to know more about what's important in St. Louis, what's cool. So I hope you guys are getting out there and really tapping into the episodes and getting more about it. So make sure you're tapping in. And this month's gonna be great because we're highlighting women, and I got a big one in today. Probably my biggest guest yet. So I had to settle in a little bit, but we're gonna get there. We got Katie Lees from Katie Pasta. How you doing?
I'm doing really good.
You too.
My biggest host so far.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I take that. Sounds good. How's 24? How has 2025 been?
Really good. Yeah, it's been. We just had opening day.
You got booming.
We were booming, so we feel all of that energy, and we're excited.
Yes. How do you deal with the craziness? I feel like outside of work, you already have to deal with that with people probably knowing you. So a day like that, how do you just keep it about business?
I just keep moving. I have to have a job. I have to do something.
I feel that.
So I was in charge of the door and seating and greeting everyone.
That's
So
cool.
it's fun.
Get to say hi and bye and just get it out the way. I feel that for sure. So the ballpark location, if you haven't been there, make sure you get down there. The pasta's great. How's baseball? How's it kind of like baseball and pasta feel to you? You love that scene?
I love the scene. It's my favorite location. Cool. Downtown, you have all the energy, the history, then you have the sports, and just people that you don't see out, in the rest of St. Louis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Lots of characters, and then people from out of town, actually.
There's a lot of out-of-towners. You get that all the time, these volleyballers that come in and stuff, and then people that are just traveling through, driving by. So it's great to see, and they get to experience different things. So
yeah, that location, you never know who you're going to meet. It's not expected.
I need to come in there more. And you actually got a new one in Crestwood, right?
Yep, I'm building one in Crestwood, so that'll be number 4. And then I have a couple other projects I'm working on that are really cool. And I'll wait to announce with you because we're going to do a couple.
Oh, yeah. We're going to do a couple. We'll talk about that a little later. So I'm excited for that. We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
And you actually got into Walmart too, so.
I did. I got the golden ticket. So it's this crazy thing where they love your product, they give you this ticket, and you're automatically in, which it can take years. What to do with the golden ticket, we'll decide.
Okay. So does the golden ticket, is it kind of just Missouri based, or do you get the national wide?
You kind of get to choose your path, and Walmart's tricky. So we want to make sure we're ready for them as much as they're ready for us. So we got to figure out the timing on that. It's supposed to be at the end of this year, but we might wait. We really like small independent grocers right now. So I think we're going to build that out across the country. And then we'll go for the big Walmart deal.
I like how you worded that. Make sure they're ready for you because they got to be, because Katie's booming for real.
Well, and also it's a different product for Walmart. I mean, it's like a premium product. It's hand stretched. It's wood fired.
Yes.
It's really cool.
It's great pizza.
And so we want to make sure Walmart's ready.
That's what's up. I'm excited about that, and get some Katie's pizza on Walmart because you've got Katie's over Jack's. I'm getting some Katie's for sure. So
I hope so.
I'm with it. So Katie's actually she's been writing a book and serial chapters, and I'm a reader, I'm a dissector. People know I critique movies and stuff, so when I get free time, I read. So this is the last stop, and this is written by Katie. She's been doing some audios on her Instagram and stuff, so I've been enjoying that. But I just love I love reading it and then seeing how you talk about it to really get your words, and then going back and diving into myself to get to know more about you. So I think we're going to have to dissect this in chapters, which would be really fun.
Today, because I haven't really talked about it much. I mean, I've done, like you said, my little Instagram readings.
Yes.
But, yeah.
So I was watching a couple interviews with you and stuff. So one thing that really strikes me, each interview you kind of talk about your dad, but you always come to the hustler type. And
yeah.
What was some hustler? What do you guys have in common with the hustler things that kind of?
Dad was one, and then I think I probably am one.
A hustler.
So I don't know if you can give yourself that title. Well, maybe my daughter will give it to me. But I wrote, my last chapter is titled The Hustler. It's chapter 13. So you're just talking about my dad, my life. I think, first of all, the hustler is born out of no options. That's how the hustler's born.
Yeah, you don't work, you don't eat.
Yeah, you don't work, you don't eat. And then it's also a very optimistic person because they can find opportunity in every single situation. They have to, right? So that's kind of how I, like when my father passed, looking back at his life and everything he did, he was, he found opportunity with every person, every situation, even the toughest. And yeah, and especially the hustler when someone tries to, get you down or I say kill, right? Not literally, but that's when the hustler thrives.
And I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's important to like, it's a good mantra in life because I feel like we all get, especially like when we get where we're going, I feel like we can get complacent and we have to get back to the hustler, routines,
It's good. It's good. Like my favorite thing is when someone's trying to kill me. And I like, again, that's a metaphor. No one's had to get me. But I mean, when, life is coming at you and you're almost to the point where you got to give up, that's the best. Yeah, that's when the opportunity comes.
So could you
And creativity's born there too.
no, for sure. So you and your dad, you guys kind of had like your journey of your own growing up and kind of jumping into the pizzeria and you guys getting things, kicking off. He working dominoes and things. I thought it was very funny. Like you said, he had a lot of slicers, but he had the fuck you slicer. So yeah. So could you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So we opened this pizzeria together and we have to figure it out on our own. I'm super young. He's, going through his own stuff. He was epileptic, brain damage, recovered, drug addict, all these things. And depending on the day. So sometimes he would be at the oven
Every day.
every day. I'd be making pizzas and it depending on his mood. I said sometimes he'd slice 4, sometimes he'd slice 6. Sometimes he was a fuck you slicer where he'd take a slice.
No, for sure. I feel that.
Yeah.
And
but you could tell by his mood how he was slicing.
No, for sure.
Sometimes he'd slice like irregular. He just wanted to fuck with people.
I feel that. Maybe get you an East Coast slice.
You never get that. Like, and you get that, you're like, wow, I'm with a real person.
No, I feel that and respect that. And I love that how you guys talked about, you said, I think you were talking about how your dad was like, you said he was drunk too or something, or he didn't, really didn't have a lot of like memory and stuff. So
yeah,
what powered you to like, bond with him a lot before he went?
Well, like I said, epileptic, and his epilepsy was in his hippocampus, which controls your memory. So, and they took it out. So his memory was shot. And I mean, you just look at a person like that, he's still thriving, he's still finding opportunity, right? But you want to protect them and take care of them. And as difficult as that is, it can be very frustrating. But I always just like looked at this person that was able to always have, everything he needed and always survive in this world that's all about technology. And he couldn't even use a phone, he couldn't use a computer, and he was still thriving. So I just was very protective and cared for him because of that. Yeah.
I feel that. And on your journey in the book, you talk about young Katie was rebellious, I feel. So, but you had a lot of awesome aunts and your mom that was an artist. Yeah. So they were kind of like already at the stature. So was that kind of like something for you to act like?
It balanced everything out.
Was it something you were scared of, like the light, or that you knew like you had it, or, you didn't want to be there yet? So you kind of wanted to live wild, or what was like that young journey?
The young journey was just like...
Because I feel like we all like, I don't know, like me, I feel like, I know the good I can do, but I'm just curious, about, what's over here. So
maybe that was like, maybe that's why I got so wild, is I knew that I had these women that were really amazing and doing amazing things, that eventually I could make it like them. So right now I'm just gonna, I don't know, maybe it was a safety net. I don't know.
I feel that. I was just thinking about that too, because I know, like, I just feel like a lot of people that, that, not that you're definitely a hustler, that's why I asked that, but, they just have the path to, get like, hey, if you work hard, this is what you get. Yeah. It's kind of like, no, I don't want that right now. I'm just do some different things.
Yeah. My dad was dominant. Like, he was a very fearless person. And as he met you, he went straight to like breaking down all the walls. He didn't ask you any silly questions. He got straight to it. So he's dominant. So I think children are attracted to like the dominant parent.
I feel that.
So I was very attracted to that, and we follow their patterns. So I was just following his patterns. Yeah.
So what was growing up and kind of when you were at the young stage of not where you are now, what was the women figures telling you kind of to get back on, catch fire within yourself?
My mother's an artist, a fine artist. She's an introvert. She's a thinker. She's a painter. So again, I just didn't pay as much attention to it, but it was still sinking in, still like that's your mom. So that was the good. That part is like it was subconsciously sinking in for later. My aunts were like my Aunt Zoe, who was a restaurateur at all the restaurants. I was not super close with her, but I was watching what she was building, and I knew that a woman could do that. So that was just kind of like something I was watching. But they were not influencing me any more than me just seeing them succeed and knowing that, I don't know, it just opened your mind. Like we have all these walls up, like we can't do this, we can't do that. So when you have people around you that are accomplishing things, I think as a child, it just opens up the possibilities.
I love that answer. It kind of journeys to the next answer. I feel like, well, I know reading your book that you come very middle class and what you work for is very from hard work. What would be your take on like money and, working for it?
Okay, I have a really messed up relationship with money. It doesn't affect me. To me, it's about, I want to, I'm a builder. I want to always have enough, right?
Yeah.
But money comes and goes, and I believe it is an energy that you need to keep moving, right? So I don't get attached to it at all. And I'm very much like I've got to keep putting it back into the universe and back into the system and back into everything. So I don't like to hold onto it for very long. As long as I have enough to keep building and do more than I did yesterday, that's all that matters to me. But like I never ever look at like a profit and loss statement. I honestly don't know how much money these restaurants are making. I just know that I have more today than I did yesterday. And sometimes I have less, but I quickly will do whatever it takes to change that. So as long as I can keep building, creating opportunity, I look at my life as I'm an artist. I'm creating art, even though it's not, like my mother, I'm not painting, I'm doing projects, I'm building things, I'm coming up with concepts and ideas and events. As long as I can keep doing that, that's all that matters to me. But I do not look at the bank account. I don't even, it doesn't affect me.
That's awesome.
And I believe you have to keep putting it back in.
100%. And you got to move out of love too.
Yeah.
And you do that. And I feel like, I feel like people that would think that, well, you're franchising, but you definitely put that back into the community, and that's why you're here too. So I'm definitely glad you answered that.
My father, though, was, I had a bad relationship with money, and he held on to it. He couldn't let it go. He couldn't spend it. He couldn't and it just like consumed him. And I saw what the opposite can happen when you worry so much about it, that you hold on to it so tight that you can't really, expand your life or anyone around you.
Cool. I love that. So the Swervinn podcast is kind of different because I like to turn the tables and let my guests ask me a couple questions. So at this time, you got one?
Oh my goodness, you didn't tell me I had to do this. I was wondering like how you got into this. I mean, you obviously have the voice.
I appreciate that. Well, it kind of journeyed back from, kind of that, just people telling me like, oh, you got that voice and stuff, me thinking I'm speaking too loud and stuff. And it goes back to critiquing movies and stuff. So just kind of, my friends would always hit me up like, Swerve, what's the movie to watch and stuff. So I kind of turned that into a movie review, and then just a bunch of sit downs by myself and stuff, just like sports talks and like, just takes on the world. And then
art and culture.
Yeah, art and culture.
You're into that.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then a bunch of like, different things happen with the world, and I protested for a while, but I was tired of colliding. So I was like, if people want to talk to me, I'll just have a podcast.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I did, and no one came and talked to me. So, but I started talking to friends and stuff, and
you never gave up.
I never gave up. And it's actually my 5th year. YouTube gave me like a mark the other day. It was like, oh, your 5th year on YouTube. So I was like, that's kind of like the small, like, glad I still kept doing it,
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Farmington, Missouri.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, you know where that is?
Yeah.
Yeah, down the highway a little bit.
What's Francois Merck is down that
Yep,
way?
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
And then what else do we have? We have Engler Park and Elephant Rocks down there and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
yep. But yeah, small town. So it kind of I journeyed up here. Like I said, going back to Luke, I just watching YouTube and stuff. And Brad and drove down there and got on my podcast. But he was like, man, you need to talk to Luke. And that's kind of like when I started diving into him.
He's from?
No, Luke's from up here, obviously. But
For the
once,
podcast.
yeah, but once I was like, hey, man, you want to come on the podcast? And he was like, man, I'm not coming to Farmington. So that's when I was like, all right, I got to make the shift. So it kind of just all worked out in timing. And I have family up here too. So it kind of just all worked hand in hand. And,
Well, what do you think of St. Louis?
I love it.
Yeah.
It's home, it's always been home. I was kind of just, I'm very thankful I grew up down south because I would have, like, I know me, I would have been in some different things, like maybe not even alive, but,
Right.
but, yeah, I'm glad I grew up down there to get different culture and kind of just, I'm very humble for that. Like,
It's amazing.
I can go, I own baseball, I do different things, like things that people don't think I could do. And I just kind of just got a hand a lot. So just kind of try to stay afloat, hustler.
I like it. And I like that you're on year 5.
Yes.
That's when things explode.
Yeah.
Year 5.
Yeah. Elliot said that on podcast. He was like, do you feel like what you're doing is working? He's like, because it kind of takes 10 years for something to like really take off. And I was like, I feel that.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of like trying to stay here,
Cool.
But I love it. I love the mic. It's kind of like,
You're gonna have a good year.
oh yeah, for sure. I just love debriefing and getting to know people more. I feel like people are like, oh, you're just a podcaster. I'm like, I mean, I am, but we have like convo, I'm not asking the media questions you hear all the time and, the usual, I want you to be here. So,
Love it.
yeah, for sure. So, I love how you guys were like you say you guys were walking and chatting, and I think like that was probably like your getaway from like the craziness in life, like from to and from work. And you said like the colors changed and then the colors muted. I thought that was like really cool because I had like what I thought of it. What does that mean in your words?
Okay, so I lived in this halfway house on South Broadway, and it was 20 women, and Nikki was my roommate, and she obviously came from a much tougher, she was right out of like 2 years in prison, tough life, and she was really like someone that we were in the same, you look at someone like that and you're like, is she worse than me and I supposed to be here? But then you have to like come to reality. Hold on, you're in the same room and you're both in a twin bed. So we're at the same spot, and if Nikki's here and I'm here, like, Katie, this is like, you guys are together. And it was this bonding experience. She really like protected me, helped me a lot, and in turn I got her work and we just became very, very close. We were both in the same spot at the same time, at the same level, the exact same level, but the colors muted and the bright colors. So when you are in those situations where you are at your lowest and it's scary, you want to be as invisible as you can. And so alcoholics, addicts become like chameleons and they change colors depending on their environment and I was becoming Nikki was becoming me. I had to adapt to the situation that I was in. And so we never ever want to be visible. We want to just always be able to survive, right? And so animals do that and they adapt and they change their colors and just for survival. But in order to get out of where we were, we had to eventually have the strength to like show ourselves and be ourselves. And that was my journey into sobriety, and what everything that I had lost was realizing it's going to be okay to be myself. And that's when I'm going to thrive. And again, I can't be afraid to be bright.
And
Yeah.
is that when everything muted?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I read that and I instantly like went to my like notebook. I was like,
But you know what? The way I write, you have to, like you're doing, you have to really think about what I'm trying to get across, and it's ultimately up to you. Like your interpretation of what I'm writing could be totally different than mine, but it's still this like an experience.
no, for sure. Yeah, and that's what
Experience, and so
when I got done reading, that's why I hit you up because I was like, I was like, I can't wait to talk.
Change what you were thinking.
Well, what I was thinking was that's kind of what I was thinking too. Kind of just when you guys would like walk and stuff, like that would kind of like get you guys away and like kind of in your own worlds where like no one really saw you, but you guys are bonding.
Yeah.
And then like when the muted colors came, it's kind of like maybe when you got back home or like your peace and calmness of kind of thinking like, okay, I'm here, but this is what I need to be in the future or what I need to be working on. Just more of your clearance of like when things mute.
Yeah.
So I was like, that was really cool. But I want to ask you too. So
Yeah.
that's great.
But again, I like it when people just take it and run with it in their own imagination or their own experiences.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Because we all have different journeys in life that, and words mean totally different things to people. And I got a few other notes from the chapter, like just words that I want to ask you about when I get to it. Because the book was really great.
Thank you.
How long did it take to write?
A year.
Really?
Yeah. I'm still editing like some of the last chapters.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're only doing 4?
No.
Oh, you're doing
13.
Okay. Wow.
So, chapter 3 is going to come out this week, and then every 2 weeks they're going to release another one. Tony Gannis is art directing everything, so he's done all of the artwork for them. But the digital book will be completely done and out in May. So all 13 chapters, and then we'll release these beautiful works of art every 2 weeks.
Cool.
People can collect.
And that will be highlighting.
Yes.
Cannot wait. Oh yeah, Boy Named Sue. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Oh, well, I mean, the Johnny Cash song. So, he talks about how his dad named him Sue to make him tough because he was going to be gone, right? And he knew if he named him Sue, he was going to get, beat up and bullied, and he was going to have to get tough. And my father kind of had that mentality with his children. He was very, very, very tough. So he never wanted you to feel good about really anything. He wanted you to always be on defense and kind of knowing that life's brutal and you can get run over, taken advantage of, all of those things. So he just toughened us up, and it was like he had that Boy Named Sue mentality. Like, I'm probably gonna be gone someday with everything fucked up happening to me. So when I'm gone, you have to be able to survive. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you were very tough growing up.
Some people call it abuse, and some people call it tough love.
Tough love.
Yeah.
And you took it as that.
Yeah.
See where you are today for sure. In the end wrap to your chapter, you give such a warm closing. You were talking about the road is crazy, and I'm not trying to give too much because I really want everyone to read it in their own time and then dive back into chapter 2. But you were talking about you got to the last rock, and it was a sharp one and a good one.
Yeah.
So was that the point in your ass where
yeah,
Katie, this is it, stay the road, or
yeah, the metaphor in this chapter is all about waves crashing, and you're hitting these sharp rocks, and these sharp rocks are knocking you out, and what happens after it knocks you out, and how important those sharp rocks are to keep you, I don't know, strong. It goes back to the Boy Named Sue thing.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, but the last stop, the last stop after the halfway house.
The last stop. Oh yeah, when you called your mom?
Hannibal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You speak about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I relapsed at the halfway house, and
Talk about the soles on the feet scared me. I was like, oh my gosh.
that's a good line.
It was awesome.
So I get kicked out. I thought that was the last place you could go, the halfway house, but Nikki was like, there's one more place. And it's a free detox facility, state run in Hannibal, Missouri. And she had a boyfriend in East St. Louis. We got his car. She drove me to Hannibal, dropped me off, and they checked me in, and I go in this room, and it's this tiny little room with 3 cots, 2 other women. One had been up for 2 weeks on meth.
Oh my God.
The other one on bath salts. But the girl who had been up for 2 weeks on meth had walked so much that the soles of her feet were just gone. And we were just smoking cigarettes in this little bitty room. And the room was filled with smoke. And I think, I can't remember what I wrote, but it covered these soulless feet, right? There was a little window that was cracked. And it was just the worst. And I was like,
How old were you at this time?
29.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah. And I was like, that was the sharp rock. That was like, okay, I just got gashed in the head and I got to figure this out or I'm going to drown, you know? So, I called my mother, who's the last person you can call who will actually answer your call when you've lost everyone. And she finally was like, nope, it's over. And the way that she said no was not like, we're worried about you. It was like, you are dead. You're gone. You have died and we're warning you. And then I had this experience where I just felt like I did die. When mom is like, you don't have anything left. And the way that she felt like I was dead and she was mourning, I just laid back on that cot, had this experience. I don't know where God, universe, whatever, maybe it was me, the real me. And, decided that's it. I'm never going to drink again, never going to use again. And I went over to the window, opened it up, climbed out the window. This in Hannibal, Missouri. Remember walking my son O'Reilly's Auto Parts. I remember that.
It was good.
Hot summer, July, Missouri day, and walked past them, walked to the highway, put my thumb out. And this church lady in this minivan pulled up and she had like the long skirt and she said, get in. And she took me to McDonald's. Safe haven. And I got my cheeseburger and my ice cream cone. And then I went and got a ride back to St. Louis and convinced them to get back in the
You said the lady opened the door. You said the lady opened the door.
Yeah,
that was great.
Back in, lived there for 6 months total, stayed with Nikki, and then never been the same.
A few questions off the top, off the chart. Did you ever go back and thank Miss Linda when you got your shit together?
No, but writing this, I was like, I got to go find her, and I did. I have seen some people who are connected with the Harris house, and they were like, she's still there.
Oh, that's great.
So I hope she reads it.
Cool. That's great.
And I need to go see her, and I probably need to go down there.
You should. I think she'd appreciate that.
Yeah.
People love presents.
Yeah. Amazing.
Could you talk about so I think all that journey and stuff and how you've grown on the road, it goes back to like your coat program and stuff that you got within the restaurant that you'll just give out coats and things. So could you elaborate on that a little bit and like what you try to do to give back within the city?
A lot of that is born out of my team. Like my team is just amazing and they'll call me and be like, it is so cold down here at Ballpark. And Ballpark is in the city. So you have people that are homeless
on the street.
And so when we had like the worst winter, it was bad. And they just called and said, we're just going to put coats out here. Do you mind? And I'm like, no, of course. And so we just brought coats and had like a clothing rack out there. But it goes back to like the fact that you never know who's like going to be down and out and how they can turn their life around. And homelessness can happen to anybody. And I think I'm a good example of that. And then anything can happen from there.
Yes.
So, it's not the end. Sure. And this could, I believe we're all one thing. I believe we're all connected. So I look at people as, myself and them as me, and that's it.
I feel that.
Yeah.
And I'm big on that too. Like, you cannot judge any book by its cover. Like, you don't know what people go through at home, and it all starts at home. And some people don't get love at home. That's why they hate. So I just try to elaborate all the same feelings to everybody. Like, it's so funny, like in a restaurant, like serving people and, just being black, some people will come in with like, kind of like, I feel like a thought, like the music playing and stuff. Until you open your mouth and like literally elaborate out of love and like trueness. And they're like, they'll get you like, are you the owner? Or like, this is great food, or like, but that's why I don't judge anybody.
You look at it as a positive experience, like you are setting their perception, because people can absolutely change. Like
it's interaction.
Yeah, with interactions like that. And it's like maybe the first time they've connected with somebody on a real level, you know. But I've seen people change their belief systems completely. I've seen people change you know, like who they are as people. So it is possible.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm all about that.
Yeah.
Question 2 for me.
Okay, so tell me about working in restaurants. What do you love about it?
Oof. All right. Well, I've done the dominoes. I feel like I've done all of the realms to like know what is fun. But I love dominoes because I feel like you appreciate the craziness. You know, like hitting enter, it's not going nowhere. Like just pizza all night. So it's just like, all right, we're just in here. So I've been through all that and just staying sane and the rush and stuff. So I love that. I love the craziness. And then I got to work. I've done the dishes and stuff. You love the hustler type and just doing it and the stuff that don't matter, but it matters, so I've done all that and stuff. But I feel like it all comes back to, when you work the front of the house, when you do all the things and then you go to the front of the house, it's like just very appreciative because you know everything that goes on. And
Oh yeah.
you typing in the ticket the right way, this can run the whole day. So it's just like, all right, I gotta always come in with my head on straight. I can't bring work, home to work. And I can't bring bullshit to work because work is work.
The ecosystem is too delicate.
Yes. So like, your bullshit could be like bring bullshit to someone else's day and the whole thing and just be a total bomb.
It does
So
show how energy works. Like good energy can really bring like the whole thing to life. Bad energy can crash it down.
so like I do it front. So like there'll be day like I'll talk to 450 people within 2 days. Like I'm just toast. So like I'm just like kind of like more like not like energetic and chefing them. They call it the swervis. Like like we ain't getting that swervis today. I'm like, dang, we're not. And it's crazy because like when I'm not giving the swervis, like tips and stuff don't matter. But when I'm just being me, like people just and it's just like when we get the swervis, it's just like, dang, So but it's not even about that, but it's really about energy. I got to bring the same energy that people look for every day.
Restaurants are like boot camp for life. Like
Yes.
you have to like you said, it's 400 people and you have to have that many interactions. That could take some people like 2 years to ease.
No, you're totally right. And just having like the sanity to like just stay like sane within talking to all them people.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome to the, it's just you gotta love it.
And everyone should do it once.
To know.
To know.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yeah. We just got the DoorDash, and I'm sure you can know about that, but it's been
do it anymore.
You don't just too crazy.
Stop.
That's how it is right now too. Like it's great, but chef is like, I don't like him standing in here, and it's no room. And I was like, oh my gosh. So that's kind of where we are too. So
yeah,
it's all about trial and error.
Depends on where you are. Sometimes you need it. Sometimes, yeah.
Trial and error. So what's before we dive into the Swervinn Q&A, like what's like besides Walmart and stuff, like what's anything big coming up for Katie and dropping the spring and summer menu?
Yeah, spring summer menu with all the new chefs on the Chef Collective. It's going to be really cool. We have a chef from Flour and Water in San Francisco who has moved to St. Louis to work with us, Carrie McDowell.
Oh, cool.
Lucas Reichs and Louis.
I hear a lot about him.
Yeah, he's really cool. You should have him on.
Cool. I'd be down with that.
He's really cool. He has amazing stories.
I had to come in and eat from him.
Yeah, he started off in New York with Daniel Boulud, so his stories are incredible. And then of course Jake, but they're putting together the best menu ever. So excited about that. Building another location in Crestwood, so we'll bring it to South County. Can't wait for that. The book, the full book coming out, and I've got Magrino PR in New York that just signed me on, who's Martha Stewart's publicist. Ooh. So we'll hopefully do some big things.
Katie's cooking.
Yeah. Trey and I are gonna go back to Italy. Trey's over there.
Yes. Trey's in the house.
He's we're gonna do some more filming in Italy. I love Italy, love spending time there. It gives me a lot of inspiration. Might write some more, and I'm gonna open some more restaurants. Another concept is coming soon.
What before we dive into the Swervinn Q&A about Italy, like what was your lifetime like there?
So my mother lived there. She taught art there through WashU study abroad program. So she was a painting teacher in Florence. So my brothers and I, we get to go and live with her in her apartment. But she lived there for 10 years and we go off and on. And then I hadn't gone back because obviously my addiction took me down for 5 years. Then I started to build my restaurants, had a child, COVID. So I hadn't been back in 20 years. I went back last year three times. This year I've already been once, going to go back next month. So my hope is that I can get an apartment there and send my team there so that they can learn the food and the culture, the history, the experience of Italy, and hopefully spend, 4 or 5 times a year there and be a part-time Florentine.
I love that. I feel like you got it in your blood.
It's in there. It makes me feel good. I calm right down when I get there.
No, for sure. That's great. And what's different from the two places from America and Italy?
The speed at which everything is happening, their very present moment. I write about in chapter 3, they care a lot right when you need to care, and then they don't care at all right when the moment passes. So that's very in the moment, which we all need to be, because, you can't control anything else. And then their entire culture, their government, their history, their family dynamics, like everything surrounds food and the importance of that and recipes. And so they take it very seriously, and it is in everything. And the food is very clean. It's organic. It's healthy. I don't drink, but the wine is the same. So I've heard people can drink there and not get a hangover. But that's how I feel with the food is like, I can eat all that beautiful pizza and pasta. Who says walk all day and you just take in all of the art. Art is everywhere. Our culture is everywhere. As Train and I saw, fashion is everywhere. Like,
Fashion's all getting
really, they're just so cool, and you just like you feel inspired at every turn.
I feel that. That's
Yeah.
fire. I need to get out there sometime. I need to get out. I need to get a passport ASAP. So we're about to dive into the Swervinn Q&A. This do with all the guests. It kind of pertains to the guests we have on, so we're gonna dive into it with Katie. And because I had a question.
Speed round.
Kind of a little bit. It don't have to be fast. But I got 2 and 1 off the first because I was kind of going off the last question. Do all your restaurant jobs that you had kind of go back to not I can do this myself, but like, blueprinting like what you want to have within yourself? And what was the first service moment that you knew like, I love serving people?
Definitely my first job. I think I was super, super, super shy. Like I could not speak. Like I was mute. And so when I had to work in restaurants, had to communicate with people, had to look them in the eye, it was like amazing that I had almost like this script and I could be a character, and that opened me up to people, communication. And I was like, it was just really, really good for me.
Cool.
And it just expanded my horizons. But immediately I was like, this just lights me up. There's so much going on and I understand it. I can wrap my head around it. I did probably get fired from every job I ever had if I was good at it, but I knew how it all worked.
Right.
Yeah.
You always just wanted to be a boss.
I did.
I feel that. Respect that. I heard a lady say, I was eating one time out, and she said that most Italians wouldn't like the States pasta and like United States, and it's like Americanized in most Italian, like it's just kind of vice versa. What's your take on that, living in both worlds?
Italian American, and then there's European Italian. My menu drives more, no shade on anybody's Italian. Like good American Italian is comfort food. It's saucier, it's cheesier, but European Italian is it's based on simple ingredients and using just a few, right? And highlighting that special one. So a tomato pasta would be the best San Marzano tomatoes and maybe some fresh tomatoes and like an herb just to brighten it up, and then like really good olive oil, but it's clean and it's simple and you highlight that beautiful ingredient. And then just the way their technique for everything, it just takes longer. It's like more skill, more technique, but in that you're getting a better product. for example. This pasta is a dried pasta. We hand make and we do fresh pasta in all of our restaurants. We use farm eggs. We use ancient grain like semolina. But this one is a dried one. And in order to do a dried pasta, you need a certain climate. You need a lot of square footage, unless you want to use a machine to dry it. So in America, they use a machine to dry it. You pull out all the protein, all the vitamins, all the minerals. This one is made in Bari, Italy, in one of the last air dry facilities. So the climate is really dry and like warm, and they have this beautiful, square footage of these buildings that have been around for 100 years. And they use this ancient grain, semolina, and it is high protein. It's good for you. So when you eat that, you feel good. You don't feel like, yeah, that's the difference.
What's the importance of having your hands on with all this and like knowing the intake and how it, reflects within your body?
Well, I'm just into that. Like I said, growing up with my father was always just sick and had problems, and I was always trying to save him, and it felt like food was going to be the way to do it. And so I was always feeding him, always trying to figure out how we could make him feel better. And so for me, it was personal.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Respect too. If the pizzeria did not work, what would Katie be doing?
So when I was a child and teenager, I wanted to be a fashion designer. I wanted to go to a RISD. My mom was an artist, so I would just draw, just do fashion design drawings all day long in my room. I remember that.
Did you have a lot of hand in the art in the book? Like, did you kind of like have like an eye, but you can't like draw? Or I'm the same way, like a visualizer.
I grew up around artists. I grew up in artist studios. A lot of them were down in this neighborhood in big lofts with amazing people. So as a child, I grew up in that environment. So I know good art. And there is, I don't know. You're not supposed to say some's good, some's bad, but I know what I love.
No, for sure.
Yeah. I just love it.
It's great. I feel like this ballpark's a great like artsy area too. Like it's kind of like delicate, but like everyone, you know what you like. I agree with that too. Just warm settings. You seem to be on the go all the time, but in a good way. What's a slow day within St. Louis look like to you? Kind of like the soccer game looked really fun yesterday. That was like your daughter. Yeah, she looks like a great time.
Yeah, she is not shy. So we're a little different in that, but she is bossy. I was always bossy.
That's great.
There's Hoke there. Slow day, it would be I love hiking by myself in the woods. No music, nothing. So that's what I
no phone?
No, well.
Yeah, you gotta have a phone. Yep.
I got it, and I got to try to tell myself don't pay attention to it. And it's like my meditation time.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You got anything else?
But that's really my big one. I unfortunately can't sit still.
I feel that. That's part of the being the boss though sometimes. Right. And who would you like to see on Swervinn podcast?
Okay, we said Karen McDowell. Who else should we have? Oh my goodness. Trying to think like baseball. I think we could get Bill DeWitt down here.
Who's that?
He owns the Cardinals.
Oh, what?
He's really cool.
Okay.
He's a cool guy.
That'd be great. Maybe bring the couch to the stadium. Trying to do that. We're trying to use something different this summer, so.
My art director, Tony Gaddis, would be good.
Oh, yeah, that would be, I love the art.
One of my videos, he's just like the car, the Italian car that he did. He art directs.
You talking about the commercial on YouTube? So, that's popping.
I know.
I love that.
He did that. He's really smart and cool and fun. Let's see. Who else in the restaurant business? Have you done Ben Baremba?
Don't know who that is.
Esca.
I'm still okay. I'm still getting out. I'm still like flourishing out and like opening my palette. So
I think Ben Baremba would be good. And then you've got Jordan coming on, so I'm excited for that one. I'm excited for that.
That'll be really fun. I can't wait to just talk about that, to get to know more about him, and just kind of like, I feel it will give the customer like more appreciation from when they go eat. Yeah. So we got some shout outs. So actually, me and Katie, we will be doing this in chapters. So I hope you guys enjoyed the dissect. go read chapter 1, The Last Stop. It's great. It's a great read. So get to know more about Katie, and yeah, just put yourself in her shoes, put yourself in your own shoes, and just talk about the journey and just read her journey and understand it. But we'll be going to the ballpark location for the second part, and then we'll be talking about more when Katie gets back from her journeys and enjoying the spring, and it's gonna be a lot of fun.
It is.
I can't wait. You got any shout outs or anything?
No, I was excited to be here. This was so fun.
It was fun. Oh yeah, we got a lot more to do.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
This is the Swervinn podcast, and we're out.